Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Saturday, June 15th, 2024. It is the day of Saturn. We have a waxing gibbous moon. We are in Gemini season, the Celtic tree month of oak, deer season, and Pluto retrograde. Now, the sun today is in Gemini, mutable air, representing communication. The moon is second quarter Libra, cardinal air, representing courtesy. Mercury is in Gemini, mutable air, representing insight. Venus is in Gemini, mutable air, representing the spendthrift. Mars is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing purpose. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. And Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, meaning we need to examine intentions and remember the Pluto retrograde mantra of reflect, heal, and evolve. Now, for the waxing gibbous moon, remember to cultivate your intentions. We are putting things into practice and into action now. And for the Libra moon, as a reminder, your do's are socialize, network, and look for solutions. And the don'ts are manipulate, emotionalism, and romanticism. So, on this day of Saturn, we have the Piscean Saturn's nostalgia and the Libra Moon's penchant for company that might have you yearning to reconnect with old friends. And so, this would be a good day to take a careful walk down memory lane if so inclined. If you are taking that particular walk with your ex, exercise extra cautions because they are usually exes for a very good reason. And feeling a little bit of nostalgia is not going to change the causes that cause the breakup to begin with. So I don't know who needs to hear that today, but I felt a pretty strong push to say it. So there you go. You're welcome. You can throw tomatoes at the computer screen if that wasn't what you wanted to hear. But moving on. The tarot of today is the Four of Stones, and the key word for this is possessions. And so when I was looking at this card, I thought about what is your relationship with the material world? We are often encouraged in pagan lore to be successful as much as we can be for whatever we're doing at, and that there's nothing wrong with us securing the comforts of life as long as we understand, the limitations of their importance. So what is our relationship with those material objects? Do we place too much importance on them? Not enough? Are we, what is our attitude? And depending on our attitude, how do we actually treat these things? Because if we don't appreciate the work that it took to acquire these things, we're probably not going to take care of things. So if we catch ourselves not taking care of what we have, it's probably time to take a step back and look a little bit closer at our own personal attitudes. Now, today's Celtic Triad. It reads three chief obligations of a person to their country and family: to gain possessions by diligence and integrity, to profit their country and their kindred in all that they do, and to seek lawful learning wherever they go. So, material gain and support. And it's noticed that the triad was talking about gaining these things through diligence and integrity. So, working hard and working in an ethical fashion. This isn't about, material gain at any cost and by whatever method. That is definitely not what this is talking about. This is talking about honorable trade and business and providing services and being able to earn a proper living from that. That is described as an obligation to country and family, because if we're not providing for ourselves, we're not taking care of our family, we're becoming a burden on the community, and it is bringing the country into disrepute. And if we do have a regard for the ideal of our country, we should be working towards not being a dependent, not imposing upon our neighbors via their tax dollars for our support, if at all possible. Then good citizenship and family life. If you're an all-around good citizen and you're actually upholding proper principles of your society, not the nasty ones that are being imposed upon us by the lunatic control freak leftists, but I'm talking about actual solid civic principles, then that is bringing us a benefit. And of course, by being a good person, that is also going to benefit our family. Someone who is of good character, they have a much higher chance of being in a good marriage and having a good relationship with their children. The people who are dreadful, of course their family life is in tatters. And of course they aren't much of a citizen for the country. It's because, they're just not a good person in general. So these are just manifestations in which their lack of character is, becoming obvious. And then when it was about lawful learning, I thought academic interest and morality unified. And there's something just very insidious about the lack of moral fiber of our higher institutions of learning, uh, especially as they are so irritatingly virtue signaling everything that people have been browbeating them to say, oh yes, this is moral, this is fine, you're a good person if you believe this, when those claims don't exactly stand up to scrutiny. Needing to have a core, oh, an ethical core. I suppose that's the best way to put it. Having that ethical core to where you have standards, and there are things that you will not do, and there are things that you consider yourself as you must do. And applying that in your scientific explorations and your academic explorations and how you present information, you're much more likely to be honest in these pursuits. Being honest as to evidence and being honest as to your thought process, telling people this is the stages that I went through when I arrived at this conclusion, so they can then decide, okay, whether I agree or disagree, at least that person is being open about, how they got there, even if, there are things that are debatable points. That is a manifestation of morality and of good ethics and just being a good person. Now, for today's magical intention, discipline. Now, I would like us to divorce the idea of discipline from punishment because these are separate things. I don't like it when people use discipline as a euphemism for punishment because discipline is really about being able to follow through with your intentions, to do the things you ought to be doing, to not allow perhaps not allow distractions to get in your way, not allow, your whims, or I don't know if I feel like it, to get in the way. It's about living up to your proper obligations. That is what being a disciplined person is. I do think that it is important to separate the idea of punishment from that, because I think punishment comes from having a lack of discipline, a lack of self-discipline. So, now that you heard my sermon on that, the color for this is indigo, the plant is vervain, the animal is the ant, and the crystal is fluorite. Next up for today's practice, I can talk, I promise. It is Saturday, so we honor deities who have to do with magic. It's a good day to work on your crown chakra, to learn about your Saturn sign. And because it is the 15th of the month, it is time for the New Year's resolution checkup. How are you doing? Those dusty resolutions you wrote down back in January. Have you followed through? What are you doing? There's a reason why you wanted to accomplish those things this year. Have you been letting yourself off the hook? Have you been making excuses? Have you been trying, but it hasn't been effective? And is it time to try a different method to try to accomplish your goal? All things worth thinking about, and I am here to nag you for it. And the last bit of practice for today would be to finalize your solstice preparations, meaning you know what you're doing for your ritual, you're getting your supplies assembled, you know what you're cooking that day, you have the place decorated, or you'll be ready to decorate for the actual ritual, things of that nature. Just make sure you've got all that taken care of, because the solstice is next Thursday. Next Thursday. I mean, where has the time gone this year? It'll be here before you know it. And by having everything arranged today, over the weekend, when most people have a little bit more spare time on their hands, that means you're not in this midweek rush trying to get everything done, the day before, or worse, the day of the solstice. Don't do yourself to yourself. You do not have to be that stressed out about it. With a little preparation, you can enter things calmly in a relaxed fashion and just be focused upon the meaning of that moment, who you are wanting to especially honor, and just the themes of this solstice this year that are really speaking to you in your heart. That's where your energy should really be focused. And if you prepare, that's where it can be. Last of all for today, the journal prompt. Now that we are halfway through the year, are you satisfied with your progress? Yeah, all kinds of turning the mirror onto people and inviting them to look to see what's there today. But it is important for us to have these little benchmarks and checkup points, and just saying, am I still on course? Or have I deviated in some way? Was it for a good reason? Was it for a bad reason? What do I need to do? It's also a way for us to keep ourselves honest about, not having these idealized, illusions in our heads of here's all the things I'm going to do, but you haven't really left a finger to accomplish any of them. It's good to just look at that and see, perhaps where our shortcomings are, but also to acknowledge where our strengths are. If you've made really good progress and you're just moving ahead at full steam, this is an opportunity for you to really pat yourself on the back. And sometimes with some of the things we work on, we're not going to get external praise. So you might as well, acknowledge that you are getting good fruitage for your efforts in the privacy of your journal. Even if no one else cares to do so, you can still have that moment for yourself. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful Saturday. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.